everyone, this is Chris. Just wanted to add in this little intro. I do apologize for the sound and a number of sections of this episode. I felt like I really wanted to do the out and about, and I'm glad I did, but there's certain sections where, while I was out and about, I didn't realize how windy it was, and that's not anything I can fix. So there's going to be certain sections where it's just loud and annoying, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm going to try to do as many episodes indoors as I can from now on. I've just found the out and abouts helpful with the anxiety and everything. But I also don't want the podcast to suffer because of it. So I do apologize. I hope you're able to enjoy today's episode. And I promise, at the very least, the next couple episodes are going to be indoors. Hope you guys have a great day. And hope you enjoy. God bless.
Hey everyone, this is Chris, and you're listening to One Cross Radio. We're kind of doing two series within one. It's an out and about, and it's a random thoughts. Why? Well, because I just couldn't. I haven't been in a good space this week, anxiety-wise. So, motivation to sit down and just talk is kind of at a low right now. So, out and about it is, because this way I'll actually do it. I'm already out, slightly more social, because normally I text family and friends like crazy during this time. By like crazy, I mean, well, just simple text. And it's a random thought because originally this was gonna be about Godzilla vs. Kong. However, it's been a couple weeks since I've watched that. I'm like, I don't know if I got a full episode of Godzilla vs. Kong in me. So we're gonna touch on several different topics. I do apologize for the noise, but it's a lovely evening out. However, there are plenty of cars and traffic. So I guess the first thing will be why not? First thing's going to be Godzilla vs. Kong. Movie dropped at the end of March, and I'll be honest, y'all, to me it's fantastic. It's not my absolute favorite of the Monsterverse. That is still King of the Monsters, but it's a very close second, and I'll say to a degree it's divisive, potentially within the kaiju fandom community, but also just for some casual moviegoers, and I can understand it. It gets a bit ridiculous, but for me, like, I'm here for it, and the ridiculousness is not out of bounds. We've had alien Ghidorah who causes hurricanes that follow him around, giant atomic breath breathing lizards, and unless Godzilla is being done in a serious take, i.e. a Shin, a Gojira, or a 1984, he tends to gravitate towards the silliness, at times ridiculously silly, and then other times just kind of silly. So for me, none of that stuff bothered me. I'm like, all right, we're going to the center of the earth. Why not? All right, there are other kaiju down here. Sure, Why not? Like, I'm here to watch the giant lizard and the giant monkey beat each other up. And it was great. There was like 3 battles, and I loved how they showed each of the kaiju's advantages. Like the first part where it was in the water, Kong was screwed. Like, water ain't his habitat. And also, like, Godzilla's got the water advantage and the atomic breath advantage. Kong has Kong, once he's within range, especially if he's got room to move, he's got a great speed to him. And they showed that. They showed that in the showdown in Hong Kong, which of course got destroyed, and also of course did not at all pause to make you think about the death toll, because the death toll would be catastrophic. But we don't really do that in Godzilla movies unless they're serious. So we got this, to me, outstanding battle. That final act hit me in a way that King of the Monsters did, where it was like, you know what, I get I get how silly this is, but this is bringing me back to watching things like as a kid with just enthusiasm and like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, instead of the cynicism and the being critical, which is just something that's all encompassing just beyond movies. So having that brief reprieve moment of just being able to enjoy something, it hit hard, and that was awesome. At this point I've spoiled stuff, so I'm gonna keep going. Mecha Godzilla's in it and looks fantastic. That was like the worst kept secret, because like a toy of it was leaked online like months ago. And yeah, it's weird how they make it, because it involves the remaining head of King Ghidorah, and it's implied like, oh hey, its spirit kind of takes over this thing, and you know what? I don't care. It's still awesome. Like, it's ridiculous, but also many of the Godzilla fan can tell you, like, this ain't even a scratch on the surface of the weirdness that Toho did with Godzilla. Looking at you, Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 2, or looking at you, Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, like, or just so many others. This franchise it inherently gets ridiculous, and it's kind of funny to me just with people seeing this and being like, this is nuts. I'm just like, bruh, this is nothing, this just all tracks. So if you're looking for a truly entertaining couple hours, like roughly an hour 50, maybe 2, I really recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Pop it on with a big bag of popcorn and just enjoy it, because I'd be willing to bet that you will. It is substantial fun. And I hope it's not the end of the Monsterverse, because we don't know where it's going. There's the hashtag Save the Monsterverse. I really hope they keep going. I really hope. It's not necessarily like highbrow, je suis, deep meditation on friggin' the atomic bomb or government inaction and all that, like, that you get with Gojira and Shin, or even any of the heavy themes from the excellent Gamera Heisei trilogy from the 90s. But that doesn't mean it's not worth it. It's a substantial amount of fun, and it gets people into Godzilla. I've had so many conversations with people from seeing these movies who are just like, that was a lot of fun. You like Godzilla, yeah? Yeah. Can you tell me more? Can you recommend me some other movies? And like, that's awesome. And I guess that'll segue into a minor rant about gatekeeping. Friggin' gatekeepers. Don't do this. Don't gatekeep. It's just so frustrating. You unfortunately see it all the time where a practical example would be with music. I remember with certain fan groups of, say, Metallica or whatever, where it's like, if you don't like every single album, you're not a real fan. Or if you like anything past Justice for All, you're a fake fan. Or shut up. Like, you can be a fan of the group and not like everything they do. I love Metallica, but I was disappointed by S&M 2. Not because and just so we're clear, that's not a dirty thing, although the name is definitely going to that deliberately, but it means symphony and Metallica. And their first S&M album from '99 was fantastic. S&M 2, I just didn't care for as much. Not because the quality wasn't there. The band is a live band. They're phenomenal. But the album, it was just more of the songs that we already got on the first S&M, and I can think of maybe 2, if not 3, new songs getting that kind of treatment, and that's where I was a bit disappointed. Like, not the quality, but just like, man, we already have like an outstanding version of one from the first S&M. We don't need a second version of it. At least in my opinion. And someone could probably say, well, there's gatekeeping, and I'll say, shut up. Like, it's that kind of attitude, and I get it. It's something I can unfortunately creep into too a little bit. Never intentionally. I wouldn't be like, well, if you want this, you're not a fan. I think you can like love a certain version of something, but also recognize, like, look, do that thing, but as a fan, that's not the only version of that thing that I want. I hope that makes sense. But I've just seen a lot of it lately, like, oh, if you're only into the new Assassin's Creed game, Valhalla, you're not a real Creed fan. And one, who cares? Like, legit, who cares? It doesn't matter. But then, two, that's going to be someone's gateway. Everything is someone's first entry into something. Like, people do that with comics way too much, and it drives me insane. Like, oh, you only like Spider-Man and Wolverine? Well, you're not a real Marvel fan. Or, how can you say you're a Spider-Man fan when you only watch the movies? Like, again, who cares? That's a version of the character that someone's getting into. That doesn't mean they're not a fan. And you being a jerk is gonna make them not want to pursue the other stuff. Like, we should be encouraging each other in our fandoms and all that. And did my rant on Star Wars a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna not do that again. But that's a fandom that does it, like so many fandoms do, and it's just something we gotta stop. Gatekeeping is just stupid and annoying. And on the scale of horrible things going on in the world right now, it's close to the bottom, but it's still something I wanted to rant about for a couple minutes. Alright, moving on. Next thing I'm going to talk about is, a couple weeks ago, the NDP which in Canada is, I'm not going to say the most left party, because compared to other countries, every party is left. But it's more left than the Liberals, because I mean the Liberals are almost centrist, like maybe center left at most, and the NDP is, you could go with left. And like, I gotta say, I really like their policies. It's super ambitious and would do a lot of good for a lot of people. But I also see, unfortunately, a lot of it's also giving other parties a lot of ammunition to just be like, well, you're going to bankrupt the country. Because some of the stuff is forgiving student debt, current student debt, and past student debt, which is outstanding. Because student fees are ridiculous. People talk about at times how much, like, I was able to, generational gaps, like, I was able to go to college and do this, and it only cost this. Yeah, that's not the case anymore. Education is debatably now less about education, and it's a business. And it's you can make the argument, a thriving business, but not in the best way, because it costs like an arm and a leg, and you are paying back so much money as it goes. So I'm for this in a big bad way, but I could see why people will be like, well, that's nuts. You're gonna have people bringing up the annoying, like, pull up by the bootstraps, because yes, people are going to take advantage of stuff, but that doesn't mean you don't do it. Just because like 3 people are going to be dicks doesn't mean, all right, well, the 19 other of you who were just going to do this, we can't do this now. Like, nah. Some of the other stuff is increasing minimum wage to between $15 to $20. That's the one I'm iffy on. Mostly because we're going to see, for legit reasons, and then also, of course, non-legit reasons, companies then letting people go, reducing full-time to part-time, people losing benefits, and less people in the workforce, and there's not that big of a workforce right now. We don't have enough jobs. We really don't. Like, it doesn't make any sense. The old model, I don't think, works as well, because there aren't enough jobs for people to just go get. Housing is ridiculously expensive. For Hamilton, where I live, the cost of a bachelor apartment is comparable to friggin' Toronto and Vancouver. That's absurd. And we're talking, like, for a bachelor apartment, easily $1,100. What? There's not enough government housing. And unfortunately, a lot of the government housing that exists is in very poor quality, which is just awful. So I don't see a minimum wage hike answering a lot of problems. To me, it would potentially create more. The thing that they were planning on instituting, which I'm a huge fan of and, like, co-sign, champion, whatever, I love this idea, is a universal basic income, also, aka a living wage. Now, how that would roll out could look interesting, because I think you'd have to base it on certain areas. Like, if people in the GTA, for example, they should get more than people in Sudbury. Now, that might sound weird, but Sudbury ain't nearly as expensive as Toronto. Housing isn't as expensive. Groceries won't be as expensive. Transportation, all that. That's why. Like, if you can do it regionally, I think that'd be great. Also, if it just gives, like, takes that worry off, like, you can set it up so if you've got a landlord, it automatically goes to the landlord, it automatically goes to your mortgage. Like, think about how about losing their house or losing their apartment, especially in a pandemic, I'm definitely on the side of housing is a human right. Because street life doesn't work, man. People can make it work, but not in any good kind of way. I've worked in that field for like 10 years. I think I can say with some loving authority, but not tooting my own horn, that that's not the way it should be. So yeah, I'm all for universal basic income or a living wage. The amount of people that I've worked with that didn't have a place or were in a situation that they were coming to a food bank because their option was food or rent. That shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be a thing. Or people coming through trying to find housing that are being turned down on because of their own social assistance. These shouldn't be things. I'm not saying we make the government the savior, which I've heard people say, and I hate that, because that's not what we're talking about. The idea of like, well, if we try to make over reliance on the government, blah blah blah. It's like, all right, but that doesn't mean we can't still try, or just because this sounds iffy, look at other countries where this works. And I'm running out of reasons to why it wouldn't work or why it should be otherwise. Yeah, this is a little more ranty than planned. So you know what, listener, I'd recommend look it up. Honestly, as much as I love the plan, unless they... Oh, the other thing was adding dental to health, like just standardized healthcare, and I love that. A buddy of mine a couple weeks ago, if he didn't have an insurance through his work, his dental trip was going to cost near like $500-600. That's not unless you're super rich. That's not something you just have. Like, again, how many people I've worked with who were in poor health, oral health, because they couldn't afford going to the dentist, and during things like pandemics or bad weather, like the community service bus that would do cleaning wasn't operating. Like, these are good things. I get that we're worried about the expense, but what about the payoff? If people can do these things, not worrying about like going to work sick, getting more people sick, instead of being able to be paid for like 5 to 10 days off because people get sick. And I can tell you, like, people aren't gonna just be abusing that. Like, oh, I'll just use a sick day. Like, nah. Some might, most won't. Like, these are only good things. To me, these are only good things. I can see how certain groups, the liberals, are probably going to go at this. One, pick and choose the stuff that they can, the stuff that they think is palatable. But then two, I can see the conservatives definitely having a go at this. And then also just pointing to, like, oh, you remember Bob Rae in Ontario in 1990 and all the, like, how he almost bankrupted the province? One, that's 30 years ago. Two, entirely different leader. And three, things have changed. And that's also something that politics do that I can't stand. We bust out, like, caricature boogeymen of the opposite party instead of looking at what they're actually offering and operating in good faith. Like, actually having open discourse, open discussion, and not just assuming or coloring the opposite side the worst. And I actually want to give a shout out to to my boy and Into the Weeds co-host Christian Dobson. We've been having a number of great political conversations lately, and Christian's been an excellent person who's modeled conversation in good faith. Beck's from Redeemed Otaku as well. When I talk politics with people, at times it can go bad, and I probably have a part in that, but also it's just tense and everything. But those two, 1,000% operate in good faith, so I wanted to shout that out. All right, I think that's enough random thoughts. I'm also approaching a bus. So that is today's episode, my good listeners. Oh, wait, yeah, there was this. This was going to be a little bit of a section. Yeah, pray for me. Not like I command you to, but if you can, that'd be great. This part's inspired by Hector, our dear friend Hector Mirai's Reel for a Second or something like that, or I just can't remember it. Oh wait, can I look it up? This is still recording, yeah? Sorry if I sound slightly off. It's because I dropped the mic. I'm just trying, I want to, there we go. So, dear listener, I recommend look up Hector's podcast, Millisecond. I believe that's in reference to Hamilton. There's a song in there where it's like, can I be real for a second, just a millisecond, or something like that. And it's a terrifically raw podcast. So I'm gonna piggyback off of some of that energy and just ask for prayer. I'm also gonna say, like, not in a jerk way, part of the reason why I'm doing it this way is you can hear what's up, because having conversations with people about it just stresses me out and almost makes it worse. So yeah, if you could keep me and the anxiety and depression in your prayers, that'd be great. It's been hitting really, really hard over the past bit, and medication is helping, but still a work in progress, right? But heck, to be even more real, the reason this episode is out and about, aside from not being able to sit down, like, to just record, is also I've got a good number of episodes that are great episodes, but I just can't motivate myself to edit. Whenever I sit down, it's just every instinct in me just goes, nope, 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 go away. So pray for that, because my motivation is nil. I'm job hunting, which is just the worst. Not even because it's not necessarily going well, it's just I doubt anyone would ever describe job hunting as a fun experience. It's not. Because you're constantly putting yourself out there, and most of the time you're getting rejected flat out, or just they don't respond, so then you're like, all right, I guess this ain't flying. And there had been a couple things I was interested in that it didn't go down, so that's even more demoralizing. And down the spiral I go. So I'm just gonna, ask that you pray. Because I also have to edit this part. I think I've shared, I'm not sure, but I can't say what the book is. But a while ago, I got invited to write about 5 or so chapters for an upcoming devotional, another geek devotional. And I've got to edit. That editing thing I was talking about with the podcast, that applies to the writing as well, but in a way more so, because that's more stressful. So please just keep all of this and myself in your prayers, and everyone. It's a stressful, not fun time. It is chaotic. It is angry. And we just pray for me for patience, and finding the Lord's joy, and of course, like finding a job and being able to edit and put out the best podcast I possibly can and all that. But in general, for people, we gotta be showing each other a lot more grace, and we just need to be a lot more patient with each other, because all the stuff that's happening, you understand why people are reacting the way they are, but those reactions aren't necessarily helping. Not that they're bad, not that they're not valid, or whatever you want to say, but when everybody's angry and yelling about why they're angry, that stuff spreads.
Is it okay?
Oh yeah. Sorry friends, Luna is meeting another pup and it's precious. They always gotta meet.
I know. Your little tail goes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, come on, Maggie.
Have a good one. Nice meeting you. Bye, Maggie. All right, that was nice. That was nice. All right, so I think I'm going to wrap it up there. But thank you so much for the prayers, for myself and for everyone. And I'm looking forward to being able to share about the book. I can't wait, because I'm excited about that. I loved doing that with Faith and Fandom, and I love doing. I'm loving doing this. It's just that depression and anxiety sometimes really suck and kick away motivation from things you normally enjoy. But yeah, I'm not trying to end it on a downer note. God is good. I love you guys. Thank you so much for the reaching out, the helping with editing, just being great friends and followers and listeners. And I love y'all. And yeah. Thank you so much. Hope you have a wonderful day. Hope the next episode will, I was about to say be in studio, which is really just in my house. But yeah, love you guys. Take care. God bless. Peace.